Hey, converted man here. How are you doing, boys, girls, robots, countrymen? Lend me your ears. Okay, so the problem of evil, or the problem of suffering. This is a classical atheist argument that negates only certain types of gods, doesn't negate all the gods, just certain types of gods. There's many formulations of this, and one could get tripped over the definitions of these words, and I'll try to cover it as best as I can and elaborate on it and explain it, because apologists will often go at this one, and so I thought I'd take a swing and try to lay out the problem here. So the argument, in short, is essentially that a all-powerful and all-loving being that we call God wouldn't allow the sort of pain and suffering that we observe to happen in this world. So therefore, God can't be all-powerful and all-loving. It could be one, but it can't be both. It could be all-powerful, but it doesn't love us. It could be all-loving, but not all-powerful. But it can't be both, because the world that we observe doesn't match the world that we can imagine would be the case. And we rely, in a sense, upon our own intuition, our own ideas of good and love and helpfulness and non-suffering. And that kind of goes like, well, look, I don't like suffering. I don't like it when I'm in pain. It's not good. I don't enjoy it. You ever, you kick your toe against the wall? Oh, that just, everything stops. It's like nothing else. That's it. That's what matters now, is that toe being stubbed. Really, just everything else doesn't matter until you can get that pain gone. And that's just, a minor inconvenience. There's worse pain out there. And it's not just humans that experience this, it's animals other than humans. And we see, like I said, there's a video of deer caught in all this barbed wire out there in the wild, And, well, humans were filming it, and they happened to go, and they rescued the deer and got it loose. But had they not been there, the deer would have just eventually starved to death, dehydrated, or a predator would have come and ended its life. Oh, yeah, and predator and prey, right. Of course, we have the lion eating the gazelle, and chomp chomp. I'm sure that's not a very good way to die for the gazelle, getting chomped to death. It's gonna hurt. So, well, that's not good. I'd like that not to be a thing. If it could be some other way, then I would make it some other way. Because I don't like it when I'm in pain. I don't like other things being in pain. I don't like to see other people in pain. And if and when I care about them, at least on a basic human level, that they're another human being, or maybe they're a creature, maybe it's some other animal, and I care about it. Unless it's an insect that's gross and disgusting, then it needs to die in fire. But nonetheless, for the most part, I have compassion towards certain creatures. And so I don't want undue harm to come to them. I don't want to inflict needless suffering upon them. As much as I might be disgusted by some bug, I'm not going to torture that bug simply because I don't like it. I might squash it, Maybe I could capture it and toss it outside so that it's not inside, or, if it's not, I don't know, if it's on me, flick it off, I don't know, whatever. But there's not a need for me to inflict suffering upon others. In fact, I want to not inflict. I want to help others. I want to heal others. I want to repair damage. In fact, if I could, I'd make it that there was no damage in the first place. And that's my own personal loving self, the loving nature that I have to some degree. But I don't have all the power. I have some ability, some power. I can help some people sometimes, but not all the people all the time. My resources are limited, my time is limited, my interest is limited, and the desire of other people to be helped is limited. And as far as helping animals, okay, there's things you could do there, and you can volunteer, and you could help out that way. There's all sorts of things you could do, but ultimately we're somewhat limited creatures in our desire, capacity, etc., to really help as much as we would like to believe that we would help, if only we had the resources. Unlimited resources means, well, then, yeah, of course, then I have unlimited ability to express that love as much as I can in negating suffering. Even more so that I have the ability to change the laws of physics and biology, etc. I can make it that nothing has to eat. Eating is not required. Now nothing needs to die to live. In fact, nothing needs to die at all. Just have infinite energy sources inside of us. You don't get old. You don't get sick. The things that you're built out of don't break. Nothing hurts you physically, mentally. Nothing can hurt you. Because the nature of the universe that I've created, or the world that I've made, is one where it's just that's not how it works. You step on a sharp stone, and well, the stone flattens out so that it's not sharp, or that your foot conforms to the sharpness so that it doesn't get poked, or it just doesn't hurt you, doesn't pierce your skin, and you have something other than skin, and you have a different biology now, so it just doesn't affect you in that way. Well, what if you want to be a jerk towards someone? Well, you can't in this world. If you say something offensive or mean, or that would cause injury, well, actually, it just disappears the moment it exits your mouth. It doesn't even produce a sound. No one hears it. No one even sees that you said it. You wanted to say it, you thought you said it, but you didn't actually say it. Well, what about treating them badly? Oh, okay, well, in this universe, if you attempt to treat someone badly, it just doesn't work. Now, I don't know the specifics of how that functions, but nonetheless, that's the universe I'm making. And I have the power to make it, so why wouldn't I? Well, the apologist has some answers, quote unquote, to this problem. One is free will. Free will. The humans have free will, and that's why there's so much suffering. Oh, those humans always inflicting harm upon each other. Well, wait a minute. There's plenty of things that free will can't possibly hope to explain. Here I am, chilling at the beach. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not doing anything. And tsunami. Well, what the bleep does my free will have anything to do with that? Here it comes. Gonna destroy us. Kill us. Hurt us. Maybe I'll survive. Maybe. But my free will I didn't cause that to happen. And I have nothing to do with it, and I can't stop it. So what the bleep? Free will doesn't explain that. And again, with the other creatures, other animals, my free will has no explanation on why the deer is being devoured by, the mountain lion or what have you. That's just nature doing its thing. I can't stop that. I'm not there to stop that. And if I was, well, I'm not sure how I would stop it. I have to give the mountain lion something else to eat. Which means I have to capture it. Ugh, so much work. And maybe, okay, I do that, but then I have to figure out a way to feed the mountain lion in a way that doesn't hurt anything. Well, that's going to be difficult, isn't it? Okay, but wait a minute, I made the effort because I had the will to do it. But here's God with free will, and it's sitting there doing nothing. It watches the deer get devoured. It's like, okay, well, humans have free will. What can I do? So then God can't intervene if that's the case. Then God can never intervene with human affairs because doing so would negate free will. That's what they're saying, isn't it? They're saying that free will is why things are bad, even though it doesn't apply across the board. It could only apply to humans hurting other humans. It's my free will to cause harm to you. Read news stories or watch, based on true story movie thing. Somebody got kidnapped, or actually, I think it was this guy held his own daughter prisoner in his basement, raped her multiple times, had a child with her. She miscarried, had another child with her. Kept them both in the basement because that was his free will. Well, what about her free will? She didn't want any of that. She didn't want that to happen to her. And we negate other people's free will. If we knew he was going to do that, we'd stop him. Once she was found, we rescued her from that situation and we put him behind bars so that he couldn't do that to other people. We say screw free will at times. But God's like, no, I can't. I can't interfere. But God's interfering in various holy books all the time. So which is it? Seems like those people still have free will, even though God's stopping them from doing things or telling them to do things. But then again, God doesn't seem to care about pain and suffering in the various holy texts. In fact, in the Judeo-Christian, you have Job. Good old Job. Who suffers through torment. And God lets it happen. God's wagering with the tempter, not Satan, but the tempter. Oh, we're going to see. Oh, yeah. And then Job's like, what bleep? And why? And God doesn't say sorry. He's just like, who are you? You're not God. You're not me. Who are you? Huh. I can do it because I made everything. Who are you? Huh. And then there's a little tacked on, little paragraph at the end, which I think was inserted after the story was done. Because they're like, we can't leave it there. We got to give Job a happy ending. So he gets, double everything he lost. Well, but he still lost everything. But free will. What about Job's free will? Screw Job's free will. Doesn't matter. Because God didn't love Job. God didn't care to stop that suffering. He allowed it to happen and essentially encouraged it to happen. And then, okay, well, I make it all okay in the end. Yeah, so it's okay if I torture you as long as I give you some money afterwards. Yeah, then that's fine. I'm a perfectly moral being. Yeah, sure, I torture you and your friends and your family for a year or so, but then I give you a nice big house. Oh, I'm such a wonderful person. Pat myself on the back. Don't you just love me now? No. I'm not a loving person. I'm a psychopath. So free will is not a response. Rather, free will means God can't intervene at all because it would interfere with our free will. So then your prayers are useless because you have free will. So God can't negate your free will. The cries for help from the woman that's trapped in the basement getting raped by her dad, God can't fix that because free will. Well, but occasionally God will help you find your keys. Sometimes. Or maybe they'll let your sports team win the Super Bowl if he's feeling like it. Although he didn't let the other people praying for the other side to win. Because, he couldn't make them both win. That'd be a tie. That'd be boring. So God had to pick one. He flipped a coin. I don't know. So sometimes God negates free will then. Unless he doesn't. So which is it? Well, they want it both ways. So free will isn't an explanation. All right, and then another defense that they sometimes will give is, well, maybe you're just very limited in your thinking. You sad, silly human. You don't know everything. Maybe there's a greater good that could come about through the suffering. Oh yeah, a greater good, you say. That a greater good can be achieved by allowing evil to happen, allowing bad things to happen, allowing suffering and pain to happen, allowing death to happen. Well, that will lead to something better. Oh, okay. That makes everything fine. Oh, yeah. Sure, because again, it's the most moral, loving thing I could do to put you through living hell. Again, I just gotta go to the torture thing. I take you, your friends, your family, and I just torture you for the next 20 years. But then you'll get infinite resources and, great big house and cars and stuff and things and therapy and health care and wonderful food and a bunch of friends and just, oh man, and orgies and whatever. I don't know, all this great stuff. That totally made, but I had to put you through the torture to get that, you see? Because I raised the money to get you all that stuff through live broadcasting your torture on the internet and raising a bunch of money. Sure, I'm going to go to jail, but hey, I'm the moral guy here because, well, I mean, the ends justified the means. Well, look, sure, we'll kill a whole bunch of humans, exterminate them, but we'll bring about a slightly better world. Oh yeah, there's going to be less pollution. Yeah, less pollution. That's good. So let's just kill a whole bunch of humans. Well, that will help the environment. Oh yeah. So the suffering, well, that's bad for them. Feel a little bit bad for them, Let's just, get rid of Australia. Yeah, screw Australia. I don't know. Just, carpet bomb it. Just bomb it. Just keep bombing it until nobody's left. Well, I mean, sure, people died, but now we'll just send in a bunch of people and reforest it and lots of trees and turn the desert into non-desert. I don't know what that will do to the environment, but who cares? We'll make it a big giant park and oh man, that's so great and wonderful, and all that suffering, well, it led to a greater good. Some apologists will say, well, see, it might bring you closer to God, that suffering. Oh, wow, really? So the thing that is inflicting and or allowing the pain and suffering, that's going to make me closer to God? So again, I'm torturing you and you're going to love me more because I'm torturing you? That's Stockholm Syndrome. That's sick. That's perverse. Disgusting. And not moral. No. The means do not justify the ends. I have all the power in the universe, and then some. In fact, I made the universe. So I can't come up with a way to get to a greater good that doesn't involve pain and suffering? Really? I must be stupid. Well, but maybe this is the only way. They'll say it's the only way that God can create it. He can't create it some other way. Well, that's just incoherent. Of course it can. It's God. It can do anything. But their imagination is just lacking. No, no, no. God has to do it this way. Why? Well, oh, you know. Or they'll just simply sidestep it, sidestep the argument in full, and pull out the, well, you couldn't recognize good without bad. Really? How do you know that? How do you know that? I'd like to know how you know that. How do you know that I can't recognize good unless I've had bad? How do you know that that's true? Well, they don't. They just assert it as if it is true. You couldn't recognize. See, God has to allow the bad so that you can see the bad. So then you can recognize good. See? Oh, thanks, God. How nice of you. Does it have to hurt so much? Well, you can't recognize super awesome, amazing good without super awesome, terrible, horrible, bad. Oh, because God can't let me just do that? Because why? And then I say, well, wait a minute. Why would it matter if I can't, quote, recognize it? If all I know is joy and wonder and peace and tranquility and love and happiness, why do I need to know that there's a negative at all? Because I'm still enjoying the good stuff, and I didn't need to know about the bad stuff. I didn't need to know. I'm still enjoying the stuff that I'm enjoying because I'm enjoying it. So I didn't need to know that there was a non enjoyment that I could have been suffering through. It's an incoherent idea and not a defense. Then they'll try, well, if you say the argument of evil, they'll say, oh, well, you can't have evil unless there's good. And good is God. Ha ha ha. So you can't have. No, no, no. It's suffering then. See, we had to change it. We said, well, okay, fine, whatever. We're never going to win that argument. Because you're just going to play semantics until all day and equivocate left, right, and up and down. We'll say suffering then. Well, you can't know suffering without, and they'll come up. That's complete nonsense. Evil is the thing that I dislike, that you dislike, that we all dislike. That's what evil is. And you don't need a good that's objective. You just need a good that's subjective. And you don't even need that, because you can make the label regardless, because that's what humans do. We make labels for things. But again, the apologist has no imagination when it comes to these things. They can't think in a larger way to encompass the totality of what it is you're trying to get at. This God that you are proposing is not all powerful or all loving, because I, who don't have all the love and very little power, don't like the stuff that I see happen, and I don't like it when I hurt. And if I could make it different, I would make it different. But I can't, or I'm very limited. I do what I can. Maybe it's not enough. But damn, Your God isn't doing diddly squat. Well, the reason that there's pain and suffering, the ultimate defense the apologists can come up with, usually Christian, Judeo-Christian, Muslim. Humans sinned against God. They did something that offended God, upset God. They did something that wasn't good. They broke the rules, so now they must face punishment. Why? Why not just forgive them? Why not say, hey, okay, Adam, Eve, hey, look, you broke the rules, but here's this guy Jesus here. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and kill him, and then I'm going to forgive you for what you just did there in the garden. And then you can go ahead and get back in the garden. And then after Jesus comes and the forgiveness is done, does the suffering stop? No, the suffering continues. So what was that for then? What did you do? Well, you're forgiven now. Well, that doesn't do me any good. We're still suffering. Well, yeah, you're suffering here, but later, I'll give you the good thing. Why? Why not now? Well, because you have to do this stuff. Why? That's how it is. Why? This is how I made it. I don't know. God is dumb. God's stupid. Other gods. I don't know that much about other gods. But I'm sure that there's some incoherent defense. And they are incoherent. And they say, oh, well, look. I mean, pain and suffering. Oh, you're complaining. But, God did it a different way than well, you don't know. And they'll just appeal to mystery. See, God he just knows everything. You don't know everything. So you don't know. You don't know what God knows. You don't know. Maybe there's a good reason for it. No. That's just justifying the ends. The means justify the ends. No. The baby born with tons of defects and dies. Well, that was for the greater good. What greater good? I don't see it. Well, after you die, then you'll be told about that. Oh, okay. Why not now? Well, because, gotta be mysterious. Because God's just a big, giant mystery. So it's not even an answer to the question. It's just, it's mysterious. I don't know. God cannot be all-powerful and or all-loving. It could be neither. It could be one or the other, but it cannot be both simultaneously. Because if it was, we would not have the world that we do. But we do have the world that we do. So the inevitable conclusion is, this thing isn't a thing. The thing that you're saying is a thing doesn't exist. There's something wrong in your formulation. You got it wrong. It's not all loving. It's not all powerful. There are limits to its power or its love. It is highly conditional and very bizarre and perhaps twisted. The rationale that the apologists will come up with to defend against pain and suffering and evil, or whatever you want to call it, will tie them up in pretzels and leave you perplexed at how any human could go to that length to try to excuse the fact that their God doesn't do diddly squat. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't care. Does not care at all. Or doesn't have the power to do anything about it. It's powerless. It can't interfere with your free will. It can't intervene now, because then you would know it existed, and then if you knew it existed, then you couldn't have faith that it existed, and that would ruin its plan. Oh, right, everything's part of the divine plan. Okay, your prayers are useless, but you need to pray anyways, because reason. No, it doesn't know. No, if there's a God, then it's not these two things at the same time. Maybe on Tuesday it's all powerful, and on Wednesday it's all loving. But on Thursday, it's neither. And on Friday, it flips a coin. But it's not both at the same time. Not even a little. Not even for a moment. Oh, but it sent Jesus. No. That don't work. Still have the suffering. Didn't fix it. The Jews are waiting. They're waiting for their Messiah. The Messiah of the Jewish people makes sense. It's going to make the world a good place. It's going to solve the problems. There's going to be no more world wars. Well, I can see one way that could happen. Get rid of all humans. No more world wars. Oh, sure, the animals will attack each other still, but there will be no more humans. That would be a solution. Whoops. Well, no, but their Messiah is gonna, benefit the humanity. They're just waiting for that to happen. I don't know why they're not going out and trying to be the Messiah themselves and just make it happen themselves, make the world a great place now. Why wait? Why wait for your Savior? Do what you can now. And, well, there goes the niceness-ish of some religions. Like, be a good person. Yeah, okay. That's nice. Yeah, be a nice guy, Because, well, if we're atheists, we just have nihilism. Nothing matters. Oh, everything matters. Absolutely matters. This is it. This is all I get, man. And I screwed up. I suck. I didn't do things I could have done. I did things I shouldn't have done. If I could go back in time, change all that stuff, I would. Of course, that would have ripple effects, and that wouldn't be me, and that's a paradox, but whatever. Screw causality. But as for God, well, my conclusion has been that the concept of God is largely incoherent if you insist that God can do everything and is all loving. Nope. That one doesn't exist. That God can't exist. That God doesn't exist. Maybe a different God exists, but it's not that one. I know what the answer isn't, and it isn't that. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe there's a God. Okay, maybe, sure. But it's not a loving and or all-powerful. That's it. End of story. And they will do everything and anything they can to justify their malicious entity that doesn't exist. Amazing. Alright. Well, that's my rant for the day. Perhaps I might do more rants. So yeah. There you go. There's that. Alright, there's some comments. I saw one comment in chat I think I need to respond to. What if God already tried that world out and it didn't work? Then God's a moron. God couldn't make it work? Then God's an idiot. That's simple. Couldn't get it right? Then God's a moron. It's that simple. God's not, maybe God's all loving and all powerful, but he's a complete and utter buffoon and just doesn't know how to do anything. Yeah, sure. I could go with that. Yeah, God is all loving and all powerful, but he's a complete and utter idiot and doesn't know what to do with its power. Doesn't know how to help us. And it's just a complete idiot. Yeah, that works. There you go. There's that answer. He had the free will to avoid the beach and therefore the tsunami. I didn't know there was going to be a tsunami. Or I wouldn't have gone to the beach. I would have evacuated the state. Or gone somewhere safe. As we all would. But you don't know. And that's the thing, is that the free will doesn't explain the stuff that happens that you just have zero control over. It cannot do that. So you're left with a God that's a moron, and an idiot, and a nimbus, a buffoon. Or, if that seems unpalatable, a God that doesn't really love you, or us, or anything for that matter. or has no power, or a combination of all those, or perhaps doesn't exist at all. At least that version. Maybe some other version does, but not that one. You take a god down, you pass it around. Lots and lots of gods to go around. Why? Why? Why do we believe? Why do people believe? All sorts of reasons. But I have yet to find one that's valid and sound. I'll let you know if I do. Until then, be skeptical.